This Shabbos is a special Shabbos. It's Parshas Zachor. Besides the regular laning of Parshas Teztaveh, we also remember the story of Amalek, of how they attacked us. And that's a preparation for Purim, obviously, which is all about the overcoming of the Gezer, the decree of Haman, which is a microcosm for that universal battle that exists between good and evil, between the Jewish people and Amalek on all levels. And so when you look at that story of Amalek's attack on the Jewish people after he left Mitzrayim, Moshe Rabbeinu, the Torah describes the attack of Amalek is that Amalek particularly went to attack the stragglers, the weakest of the Jews. And Chazal tell us in particular of all the tribes, of all the tribes of the Shvatim that Amalek went to attack that were the weakest, it was the tribe of Dan, Shevet Dan. Shevet Dan, Chazal tell us, were the most susceptible to attack. Why? Because even when they left Mitzrayim, unfortunately they had amongst them avodah zaras and idols, and because of that they were kicked out of the protective clouds of the Anania Kavod that protected the rest of the Jewish people. And so when Amalek is attacking the Jewish people, they're specifically going to attack Shevet Dan, who are kicked out of the cloud. Now, by the way, there's a lot of connections we find, in fact, between Amalek and their attack on Shevet Dan. For example, Haman, who is a descendant of Amalek, it says the word Haman in Megillas Esther 54 times, which is numerically the same word as Dan. Dan is Daled Nun, which is 54. The word Haman is mentioned 54 times. Even if you count the letters of the 10 sons of Haman, it's 54 letters. And so we have this connection that Haman and Amalek particularly attack Shevet Dan. And that doesn't just mean practically an historical fact that they would attack the weaker physically weaker Jews. It means on a deeper level that the attack of Haman, the attack of Amalek, is to attack a Jew by their weakest point. What the Yetzer Hara tries to do, the embodiment of Haman within us, what the Yetzer Hara tries to do is to make a person think of themselves and define themselves based on their weakest points. Instead of looking at ourselves in a bigger picture and saying, you know what, I'm pretty good and I have great strengths and the Rabban Shalom loves me because of that, and and to be motivated by one's positive accomplishments. What the Yetzer Hara invariably tries to do as the embodiment of Haman is to attack us by our weakest points, to make us feel that we've been kicked out of the cloud. And once a person feels that they've been kicked out of the cloud, now they're very susceptible to the attacks of Haman and Amalek. What is the Yontiv of Purim? The mitzvah of this Shabbos, of remembering Amalek, of being sensitive and being aware of their tactics. And the Yontiv of Purim, which comes from after the Shabbos, which is our victory over Haman. The whole Yontiv of Purim and our antidote against Haman, is to remember, as Mordechai, as the Megillah describes, that Mordechai sent the letters and the Yontiv of Purim, l'kroivim u'lerachaikim, to Jews that are close and to Jews that are far. A person has to remember that from the Rabban Shalom's perspective, there's no such thing as a Jew that's far. We feel the distance. From our perspective, it feels that some Jews are in the cloud and some Jews are outside of the cloud. And if a person thinks of themselves as outside the cloud, that's where Amalek attacks. That's where Haman attacks. But a Jew has to remember the whole Yontiv of Purim is that from the Rabban Shalom's side, there's no such thing as outside of the cloud. The Rabban Shalom fills all worlds. The Rabban Shalom is everywhere. Less asar panimine. There's no such thing as truly being distant from him. Like David HaMelech said in Tehillim, if I ascend to heaven, Shamata, that's where you are. And if I descend to the depths of hell, Hineka, you're there as well. To me, it feels like there's a distance, but as far as the Rabban Shalom is concerned, Shaveh u'mash v'katan v'gad, the Rabban Shalom equally embraces and is equally close to everyone. And so that's what the Yontiv of Purim is about, is to remember that all this distinction, all the feeling of Hester Pan, the feeling of concealment and clarity and good days, bad days, that's all from our end. From the Rabban Shalom's side, whether we feel like it's a good day or bad day, whether we feel that we have it, that the Rabban Shalom is with us or not, whether we feel like we're in his cloud or not, from the Rabban Shalom's side, either way he's always with us. Either way, it doesn't make a difference. L'kroivim u'lerachaikim, and that's the Yontiv of Purim. So Hashem should help that we shouldn't fall prey to that attack of Haman. We shouldn't fall prey to that attack of Amalek, of thinking of ourselves as people that have been rejected and been dejected. Hashem should help. We should be zeicha to connect ourselves to the tzaddik of Mordechai, to the tzaddikas of Esther, and to remember l'kroivim u'lerachaikim, that the Rabban Shalom is close to people that feel close, or even to people that don't feel close. The Rabban Shalom either way is close. Hashem should help. We should come to Shabbos with menuchas nefesh and menuchas aguf, and both individually and collectively see the redemption of our people. The B'yas Kol Tzedek Meher V'Meinu Amen.
Hashem.